When we think about recruitment of foreign workers, we may imagine a worker in the home country approaching an employment agency there, which works with an employment agency in Singapore, which connects the prospective worker to a potential employer. Most countries have laws that regulate such employment agencies. Singapore's law, for example, sets a maximum that employment agencies can charge. It is the equivalent of 1 month's salary for each year of contract, subject to a maximum of 2 months' salary. How is it then that in the vast majority of cases, foreign workers, particularly from India and Bangladesh, report having to pay thousands of dollars to obtain jobs with monthly salaries only in the $400 to $600 range? First-time workers often pay 18 to 20 times their monthly basic salary. Those on the second or third stint report having to pay an average of 6 to 10 times their monthly basic salary. A closer examination of workers' actual experiences reveals that the standard model is divorced from reality. Most workers are in fact recruited through freelancing job agents in quotes who are unlicensed and therefore operate outside the legal framework. In short, the laws we have regulate parties who don't actually do the recruitment, and those who do recruitment are outside the law. No wonder then that recruitment costs make a mockery of legislation. How did such a situation arise? Here's what we know so far. Suppose an employer needed workers. He would have no way to reach the unemployed youth in countries of origin. He might ask an employment agent in Singapore to find workers for him, but the employment agent here would have no way of reaching the potential workers either. So the Singapore agency connects with an agency in the country of origin. But here's the thing. The licensed employment agencies are in the cities, while many unemployed youth are in small towns and villages. So even those agencies can't reach the potential workers either. What do? They rely on all sorts of commission agents in the small towns and villages to recruit. Are those employment agents employees of the licensed agencies? No. Are they bound by the country's regulations? That's an open question. But in any case, the capacity of governments in many countries of origin in enforcing their own laws tends to be weak. And so, unsurprisingly, these freelance recruiters have long operated with no regard for laws. It might have started out that way, but it didn't take long for the freelancers, once they themselves got to know a few employers, to see that they can cut out the licensed agents and work directly with employers. Why should employers want to work with them? There are two big reasons. The first is simply that these freelance recruiters are effective. They can find workers. The second is that being at liberty to charge whatever the market will bear, the freelancers are able to offer a big fat cut of the fees to employers. Why would workers want to go through these exorbitant freelance recruiters? Pricey though they may be, they are effective. They can find jobs where licensed agencies cannot, once employers have chosen to work with freelancers. There are still licensed agencies in operation. Clearly, some employers have backbone and refuse to work with the shady operators. But more often than not, we have observed that the licensed agencies have become a paper processing ancillary service for the freelance recruiters. Because they are licensed, they are able to submit the paperwork to get work permits, etc. But the heavy lifting, that of actually finding workers, is done by the freelance recruiter. The bulk of the profit goes to him, though, as mentioned earlier, many share their profit with the employers. Over the last 5 years, the landscape has changed. More and more, we're seeing Indian and Bangladeshi work permit holders in Singapore performing the role of freelance recruiters. These would be the work permit holders who have earned the trust of their bosses. They might have worked a long time with the same company and risen to the position of supervisor or foreman. Whenever a company needs more workers, the boss goes to his trusted guy to find people. The trusted guy then exploits his privilege for financial gain. Maybe he shares a ransom with the boss, maybe he does not. But either way, the prospective worker is made to pay for the job. Another way that the landscape has changed is in the fact that now the huge majority of workers being taken on are rehires. They are looking for the second, third, or fourth job. They know their way around Singapore. In many instances, they are right here looking for a new job. Nothing at all like our picture of them languishing unemployed in their home country. And yet, almost always, they still report that they are made to pay whoever is the gatekeeper that controls access to the job they seek. What this shows is that corruption and exploitation have become entrenched and systemic. There are plenty of greased palms and vested interests in keeping things as they are. Change the system, we must.